So this is a presentation about how to animate and narrate keynotes. So maybe you have a lesson that has some content that's already in a PowerPoint or in a keynote. Both of those files can be opened within Keynote. So what I'm going to show you is a couple of things. I'm going to switch into actually playing this keynote, and I'm going to switch back out in a little bit to show you how to do some things. So when we go into playing this keynote, we're advancing through the slides. This is what your students will see in the video you create. First, let's look at animations. So animations don't refer to like little, happy lions dancing around. Animations within Keynote are simply adding information or images in a controlled way to draw your viewers' attention where you want it. So you might use animations to highlight certain ideas or to introduce ideas one at a time. So what we're going to do next is we're actually going to hop out and I'm going to show you an example that has some animations in it, and then we'll look at how to create your own animations. So this is an example of a math problem that's done in Keynote. So this is sort of the Keynote version of working a math problem on the board for kids. So you can see what's on this slide here is the end result that the kids are going to see. But in order to draw their attention through it, when we play this slide, information only shows up one bit at a time. So first we're just focusing them on the question we're asking. What values of x make this equation true? And then step by step, we ask them to consider, well, for multiplying two things together and the answer is 0, either the first thing has to be 0 or the second thing has to be 0. To make this first quantity, x plus 3, be 0, x would have to be negative 3. To make this second quantity, x minus 3, be equal to 0, x would have to be 3. So by revealing these pieces of the slide one at a time, it helps draw the student's attention where you want it. Next, let's look at how to create these animations. So here's a slide that has some text and an image. So animating text is a little bit different than animating images, but only a little bit. So the first thing we want to do is to activate our animator up here in the right-hand corner of Keynote. And then we're going to select the item that we want to animate. So if I want to animate this text, the first thing I'm going to do is decide what animation do I want. Do I want it to be on the slide at the beginning? That's no animation at all. It just sits there. Or do I want it to do something? For example, do I want it to simply appear? That is to just show up. Do I want it to blur in or to dissolve in? Some of these are a little bit distracting. I tend to stick with the pretty simple ones, appear. Now, I have a choice. I can have the whole text box appear all at once, or the items in it can appear one at a time by bullet point. I'm going to go ahead and do them one at a time by bullet point. Then I'd like for this star, I'd like for it to also appear, so I've set it to appear. But I can add some actions to it. Let's say that I wanted students' attention drawn to this little star. I can do things like I can make it jiggle, or flip, or bounce, or pop, or pulse. So we're going to go ahead with jiggle on this one. So let's see what this slide looks like when I play it then. So at the beginning, there's nothing other than the header on it. Then we've got our nice little star, and there's our star jiggling, right? Hey, look at me. Then we've got our directions coming in one step at a time. So suppose I decided I didn't like the order of that. Really, I wanted the words to come in first before the visual. I can change the build order here. So notice this has the star appearing, then jiggling, then the text comes in. I can just move these around. I can make the text come in first, and then I can have the star appear and jiggle. Last, we're going to look at how to record the voiceover. To record the voiceover in a keynote, you want to go to the Document tab on the far top right-hand side, and then you want to select Audio from within there. Make sure that you're on the beginning of your presentation, and then click on the Record button. I'm going to record from this slide just to show you what it looks like. So you're going to click on Record, and it'll take you to your presentation window. You can tell whether the microphone is sufficiently picking up your voice down here, and to start the recording, you need to click here, Start Recording Audio. It'll give you a countdown, and then you'll be able to record the audio, and you'll notice that you'll be able to show your animations one at a time, and it's just recording your voice over top of the animations that you create. When you're done, you can stop, and you'll see that you've got a recording there. I'm going to go back into Keynote, and now you can see that I have a recording here. A couple of things to note. You cannot move around the pieces of a recording. So if I record some stuff that goes on slide 5 and then decide that I want to move it further up in my presentation, the voice recording doesn't come with it. It's not attached to each slide. What I can do though, let's say that I had recorded this through successfully to slide 4, but then on slide 5, I said something wrong or I made a mistake. You can re-record from a particular point in your recording forward. So suppose I were to record in here. Notice I still have this slider bar for where my recording is. I can back up a bit in that, and then I can record. And it's going to ask me, do you want to replace what you have from this point forward? And if you say yes, it simply replaces everything in front of where you had stopped. All right, last up then is exporting your recorded keynote into some kind of an uploadable file. So one choice is from the share menu to go directly and share it out to YouTube. So if you already have a YouTube channel that you create, you can just put it right up there from directly within Keynote. Another option is to go to the File menu and say Export to and select QuickTime. So this will make a movie that you can put in your learning management system, on your website, or that you could upload right into YouTube. This export takes a little while, so just be prepared that your computer is going to be busy for a bit while you're doing it.